Hi, hello everyone. It's me, CA Sanjay, your faculty for auditing and SM. So, as I always say, with right guidance, auditing and SM is never ever a boring subject. It's always a scoring subject. So today in our focus batch, we are going to have a very quick revision of SA 260 communication with TCWG. Clear? Yes, sir. So right now, first let's understand what is this or who is this TCWG. TCWG, what is the full form of TCWG? Those charged with the governance. Those charged with the governance. Those who are having the responsibility of governance. Charged with means those who are entrusted with, those who are having the responsibility of governance. Okay. See, how to identify the difference between TCWG and management. TCWG will be always having supervisory responsibility, whereas management will be always having executive responsibility. TCWG will be having supervisory responsibility, whereas management will be having executive responsibility. Clear? Yes. Sir, who is TCWG? This question was asked in JAN25 exam. 5-mark question. Who is TCWG? Okay. So TCWGs are those people who is responsible for the strategic decisions of the company. They are responsible for the strategic directions of the company. They are responsible for the strategic decisions of the company. They are also responsible for the financial reporting process. They are responsible to ensure the company is preparing the financial statement properly. They are responsible to ensure that the financial statement is prepared as per AFRF. So TCWG is having two responsibility. First one, overseeing the strategic decisions of the company. Second one, overseeing the financial reporting process. See, sir, how to identify TCWG? See, in a company, sometimes the board of directors may be the TCWG. Sometimes all the persons within the board of directors may not be TCWG. Those people within the board of directors who are having executive responsibility. In some small companies, small entities, it may be sometimes one person. In case of partnership firm, it could be partners. Sometimes there will be a separate supervisory board to look after the governance matters. So this TCWG is highly diversified. We cannot pinpoint a specific person. Specific person may not be identified. Like that means we cannot pinpoint and say this is TCWG or these persons are TCWG. It may vary from entity to entity. Okay. So collectively we call them TCWG. What is TCWG? Those charged with the governance. Clear? Yes, sir. Got it, sir. Got it, sir. Second one, objectives of SA 260. What this standard is actually asking the auditor to do? This standard is asking the auditor, you need to communicate. What should I communicate, sir? You should communicate auditor's responsibility and plan the scope and timing of audit. This standard is asking the auditor, you need to communicate with TCWG. Sir, what, sir? Auditor's responsibility and plan the scope and timing. Okay, sir, fine. This standard is asking the auditor, you should obtain relevant information from the TCWG. You should obtain all the relevant information which is required for the purpose of audit from the TCWG. Then this standard is asking auditor, you should provide significant observation to TCWG. Try to understand how these sentences are framed. First, I need to, as an auditor, I need to communicate to TCWG what? Auditor's responsibility, plan, scope, and timing. Then I should get from TCWG what? Relevant information required for the purpose of audit. Then I should give to TCWG what? Significant observation. Whatever significant observations are there, I need to communicate it to TCWG. Clear? And again, this standard is asking the auditor to have an effective two-way communication. Auditor, you should always maintain an effective two-way communication with the TCWG. Sir, why, sir? What is the benefit of having two-way communication, effective two-way communication? See, that's the next question. What is the benefit of having effective two-way communication? Let's understand what is the benefit for auditor. What is the benefit for auditor? Auditor, see, if there is an effective two-way communication, it helps the auditor in obtaining information relevant to audit. Sir, what is the benefit to TCWG? It will help TCWG in fulfilling their responsibility. So what is the responsibility? What is the advantage for auditor? It will help the auditor to obtain information which is relevant for audit. And what is the benefit to TCWG? It will help TCWG in fulfilling their responsibility. Then next two advantages for both of them. First advantage only for auditor. Second advantage only for TCWG. Now, what is the advantage for both of them? It helps them to develop constructive working relationship. It helps both auditor and TCWG to understand matters relevant to audit. Okay, so what are the benefits of effective two-way communication? First point, from auditor's point of view, helps auditor in obtaining information relevant to audit. Then TCWG's point of view, helps TCWG in fulfilling their responsibility. Then both of them, taking into consideration both of them, helps them to develop constructive working relationship. Second one, both of them will be able to understand matters relevant to audit. Clear? Yes, sir. Got it, sir. Got it, sir. So what is the name of the standard? Sir, communications with TCWG. Sir, what should I communicate with TCWG? Sir, what should I communicate with TCWG? What are the matters that an auditor should communicate with the TCWG? What are the matters? See, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 matters are there. Let's understand one by one. First one, sir, auditor's responsibility. Sir, this already seen an objective, right? Yes, sir. Same thing. Auditor needs to communicate the responsibility of the auditor. What is the responsibility of the auditor? Expressing opinion on the financial statement, right? So auditor has to communicate his responsibility to the TCWG. What is the responsibility of the auditor? Expressing opinion. One more thing, he has to clearly communicate with TCWG. I have to communicate to TCWG. See, TCWG, audit does not relieve your responsibility. I have to tell to the TCWG, I will do only my responsibilities. Your responsibility, my responsibility, my responsibility. I am not going to do your responsibility, and audit does not relieve management's responsibility. I hope it's not confused, right? Yes. So what is the first thing that I need to communicate to TCWG? Auditor's responsibility. That auditor has to communicate to the TCWG that my responsibility is to express opinion, and audit is not at all going to relieve your responsibility. Clear? Yes. Second, I have to communicate an overview of planned scope and timing of audit. I don't want to communicate in detail. I just need to give them an overview of my scope, timing of audit. Okay, fine, clear. I don't want to go in detail. I just need to give them an overview of planned scope and timing of audit. Clear, sir. Got it, sir. Next, very important point from exam point of view. Mark it as star mark. Important question. Significant findings. Significant findings. Third thing I need to communicate to the auditor, I mean TCWG, is significant findings. Sir, what do you mean by significant findings? What are the difficulties I encountered during the audit? Significant difficulties I encountered during the audit. Okay, if I encountered any difficulty, if I'm asking some data to the management and management is not providing me the data, I will go and communicate to TCWG. The significant difficulties I encountered, the management is pressurizing me to complete the audit immediately, I will go and communicate to the TCWG. These are called significant difficulties. So significant difficulties encountered during the audit. Circumstance affecting the format and content of audit report. If there is any circumstance which affects the format and content, sir, what do you mean by that? If I'm going to include a modified opinion, if I'm going to include an emphasis or matter paragraph, if I'm going to include key audit matter, if I'm going to include a going concern paragraph, then I will communicate it to the TCWG. All those circumstances which affects the format and content of my audit report. Then I need to communicate the qualitative aspect. Sir, what do you mean by qualitative aspect? I need to communicate regarding the accounting policies, accounting estimates, financial statement disclosures to the TCWG. Third one, auditor should communicate the qualitative aspect. Qualitative aspect means relating to accounting policy, whether the accounting policies followed is correct or not. I need to communicate. Accounting estimate seems to be reasonable. Whether they have provided all the financial statement disclosure, I need to communicate it to TCWG. Then all significant matters arise during the audit. All significant matters. In SA 230, we have discussed the significant matters, right? Examples of significant matters which give rise to significant risk. I hope you are able to understand that. Significant matters arise during the audit, I need to communicate to TCWG. And finally, I should also obtain written representation. Written representation. I should ask TCWG to provide me the written representation. So these are the three things I need to communicate. What are the three things? First one, I should communicate auditor's responsibility. Second one, I need to communicate an overview of planned scope and timing. Third thing, I need to communicate significant findings. If you are auditing a listed company, apart from these three, you also need to communicate something relating to your independence requirement. If you're auditing a listed company, please keep this in your mind. If you're auditing a listed company, first three things: responsibility, overview of plan, scope and timing, significant matters, significant findings. That three things you definitely have to communicate. In addition to this, you have to communicate to TCWG in writing, the independence requirement. Sir, what do you mean by independence? What are the things I need to communicate, sir? I have to communicate that the engagement team and others have complied to ethical requirement. I need to communicate TCWG that my engagement team and others within the firm has complied to ethical requirement. I have to communicate to TCWG all the relationships that firm, networking firm with the entity, all the relationship which is having a bearing on independence, What do you mean by that, sir? Say for example, I'm auditing ABC company and my articles relative is working in that company. So don't you think that will have an impact on my independence? If so, I have to communicate it to the TCWG. So all the relationship of firm and networking firm with the entity which is having a bearance on my independence. I should also communicate the fees charged for audit service and non-audit service by the firm or the networking firm on the entity and its component. I should also communicate the total fees charged for audit service and non-audit service by the firm and networking firm on the entity and its component. Am I clear to you? Am I clear to you? Yes, sir. Got it, sir. Got it, sir. And if at all I have identified any threat, definitely I'm going to implement some safeguard, right? So what are the safeguard we have implemented to eliminate the threat or reduce the threat to an acceptable level? Clear? So in case of listed company, I have to communicate in writing these three independence requirements, that my engagement team and others have complied ethical requirements, all the relations that bear on the independence, the fees charged for audit service, non-audit service by the firm and networking firm on the entity and its component, and also the safeguards I have implemented to eliminate or reduce the threat. Am I clear to you? Got it? Yes, sir. Got it, sir. Got it, sir. Now, almost done. Communication process. We have to communicate the form, timing, and general content. I have to communicate with teachability. Sir, when should I communicate? On a timely basis. When should you communicate? On a timely basis. In case of listed company, you should communicate the independence requirement in writing. We have already seen this above, right? We have to communicate the independence requirement in writing, and also communicate in writing when oral communication seems to be inadequate. So my next question, how should I communicate? How should I communicate? When should I communicate? On a timely basis. On a timely basis. How should I communicate, sir? In case of listed company, you should communicate the independence requirement in writing, mandatorily in writing. Am I clear to you? Yes, sir. And in other cases, if you feel oral communication is inadequate, you can go for writing. Clear? And always it's better to go for writing because it's always a documentary evidence, right? Yes. Then what are the things you need to document? If you have gone for oral communication, what are the things you communicate? When did you communicate? To whom did you communicate? You have to document. If you have gone for written communication, you should retain the copy. You should retain the copy. That's it. Done. This is all about SA 260 from intermediate point of view. From intermediate point of view. So I hope this standard is not that difficult for you, and it's a very easy standard and a short jujube small standard. Please go through this video twice or thrice so that you will be able to recall all the important concepts. I hope you like this video. If you like this video, you know what you are supposed to do. Please like, share, subscribe to all your friends. Okay. So see you in the next video. Thank you. Thanks a lot.